Guys, thanks for watching. Elise makes a bunch of videos. I thought I would make a story time video because it has been a minute since I've done one of those. Um, I feel like I've got a lot of stories, and in these like story time videos, I have mainly featured like kind of interesting tales that I find myself telling other people more than once for whatever reason. Um, But I just sort of randomly thought of this thing and I was like, oh, that was pretty interesting. I think a lot of people are missing traveling a lot right now, and so I thought I would do a travel story. Um, I have traveled Mexico several times, and the most recent time I was in Mexico, I was there sort of twice. I went to Oaxaca and then went through Guatemala to Honduras, did my dive master certification in Utila, and then end up back on the other side, on the Yucatan, like Caribbean side of Mexico, near like Cancun and all that. Um, Through Belize, I believe. I can't remember. It was like anyways. Um, yeah, so I ended up in Tulum, which is a pretty popular area really close to Cancun, where a lot more sort of backpackers end up going. It has a really nice beach and is a little less resort sort of style and more sort of just like chilled, like little town, beach town type thing. Anyway, I can't remember how, but I ended up staying at this place that was like a camping place, but it wasn't one of the beach camping places. I did also do that in a trip like a few years back. Um, but this camping place was like right in town, and it was sort of like in like in like a real Mexican neighborhood, um, meaning that it wasn't like catered to tourists at all, but it was just these random people who decided to make a business of just like using the little bit of area that they had and literally just putting tents up, like I think even on concrete. Like it was just a big concrete block where there was tents, and then there was also a few rooms you could rent. I'm trying to remember. I think even the toilet that I used was actually just in one of the vacant rooms. Anyways, it was very cheap. Um, and I think a lot of people would not want to stay there. Like certain types of travelers would be like, no, there's no way in hell I'm staying there. It was very, very basic. And it had like a shared kitchen. I ended up meeting some really interesting people there too. So it was actually a super positive experience. But yeah, like it's sort of hard to describe. I didn't take a lot of videos at the time just because the internet was never a good situation, especially there. There was some Wi-Fi, but I would say not for like any uploading, downloading of anything. And then the people who ran the business, um, it was like a family, and they were like super nice. And then they ended up inviting me and this other American couple to go to check out a cenote, which is like a sort of like lake that's just a hole in the ground that's somehow created. I feel like people have got theories, but they don't actually know. But it somehow created uh, like this underground cave that is at some point connected to the ocean, and so it's like the top layer of it is fresh water, and then the bottom is salt water, and then it sort of like connects to the ocean at some point. But sometimes the connection is so little that like you can't go to the ocean. You can't just like swim. Like sometimes it's miles inland as well. And there's tons of them all over that area, into Belize as well. And so they're all over the place. people are discovering them more and more, or at least making them more accessible. Especially now that it's like I think people are realizing that it's like a tourist thing. Like, people love to see these cenotes. So they're just, yeah, making them more accessible and opening up new, like, usually there's an entry fee and you pay to get in, and sometimes there's a guide. It depends who's running it. It's usually sort of run by different private companies or whatever. Some of them you can scuba dive in. Friends of mine did that when I was on that trip, actually, and a couple of them. And I did too. I swam through one of them. It was really cool. Scuba dived through one. Super cool. The really popular ones tend to have ropes, guidelines that you go through. So any like cave diving that's done by a lot of people, they tend to like have little markers and stuff because it's like at pitch black at points. Obviously, there's no like light in most caves. And so you have this line that you kind of like hang on to and follow so you don't get lost and panic and die, because cave diving is actually really dangerous. Anyhow, they were just going to open up this new cenote, and I guess the family that was owned or running or owned, I'm not sure, the place where I was staying was like, oh, we have friends that are working on, building the like the structures that are going to be around there, and like the road, and just like making it into a real like thing that people can go into. But it's not open yet, so do you guys want to come? So we went, and we basically got like a private VIP tour of the cenote for no money. They just like drove us there. Yeah, let us look around. I went with my snorkel into like a few little spots and like poked around, and it was really cool. It was like a very I felt like a unique like experience that not everyone gets. And I just thought it was really cool. I think yeah, when you get out of that resort environment, in places like that, obviously there are, I suppose, some dangers that you have to keep your eye out for, but there's also some real like genuinely nice people that just want to like, I don't know, be nice. And I'm trying to remember, they were not from Tulum. They were like from the countryside and had just moved there, and like were trying to build this business. And I feel like they still had that sort of small town attitude of like um just, like general niceness to their neighbors and just people that they meet. Whereas I think a lot of the bigger, like big city people that tend to work at the resorts, especially because you get paid a lot of money, and it sort of attracts that sort of um, type of employee, I guess. And also because you need to speak perfect English, it'll be the people who've got higher education and are probably from wealthier backgrounds and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, and then there's also like the aspect of fake niceness that I feel like you get at those types of places. Anyways, this has turned into a rant about all that, but really cool experience that I had. I don't know when I'll be able to get back to Latin America, and I definitely want to go back to Mexico. There's so many more places to see. It's such a huge country. So I'm looking forward to doing that at some point when the world is not imploding. I hope you enjoyed my story. I'll hopefully have a couple more in the next few weeks or months or years. Who knows? Leave your comments. I can't remember if I have a video of the actual cenote itself that I maybe uploaded. If I do, I'll try and find it and put a link in the description of this video. And if it's not there, I forgot or it doesn't exist. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Peace.